It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Monday? We do, you do. From the Dixieline Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, coming off a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Monday bonus podcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host, the venerable John Riley, with his opinions from left field, and we welcome you to this podcast, Hacksaw's Headlines, brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Thinking about projects for the winter, home, pool, patio, or work? Think Dixieline Lumber. Go to dixieline.com for all the things they have to offer. John Riley, have we got a ton of stories, a lot of late-breaking stuff on a Monday? How was your great sports weekend aside from busy?
It was busy. I mean, we have playoff soccer to add to the mix over the weekend. But, hey, you're looking sharp right now. Doing a little bit of professional journalism out there on your beat.
I was out, press conferences all over the place on a Monday. I was not going to violate the dress code because you look pretty spiffy yourself.
Okay.
Hey, listen, we're going a lot of different directions. Just a note, when we're done with this podcast, because we put topics on the table and we do sports talk the way it should be done, when we're done telling you the big stories and expressing our opinions, we open it up for you to join us. It's called Fans Forum. John, how does that work?
Fans Forum. That's what it's called. So, hey, if you got a question or a comment in the world of sports for Hacksaw, drop your hot take in the live chat, YouTube X, or on Facebook. And I see Michael and Casey have already jumped in, and I think a few more. So, Hacksaw, this is going to be good. Oh, Callan, Dallas, Jay, they're all joining the party, Lee.
Right out of the gate. You got opinions, you got questions, you got answers, you got statements to make. The last segment, Fans Forum, it's about a half hour in length. The last segment belongs to you, so get ready to jump on board. We're going a lot of different directions. John, offseason has begun. Let's go wall-to-wall baseball, batting leadoff, first topic on the table.
Wall-to-wall, out-of-the-box thinking for the Padres.
Boy, I tell you what, the critique, the analysis from around the country about what that guy, A.J. Preller, did with hiring the other guy, Craig Stammen, as manager, has really been amazing. The collective phrase is out of the box. Why would you hire somebody with zero experience like Craig Stammen when there were so many other people to go through the interview process? And some of the criticism of Preller has been kind of sharp. Some of it's kind of witty. Some of them sent a memo to AJ saying, quit trying to reinvent the wheel. You're trying to change baseball. And by the way, there's 3 strikes in baseball, AJ, and this is your 3rd attempt to hire a first-year manager. If this does not work, strike 3, you're out. So the national response has been kind of off the charts, and most of it's been full of zings. At the end of the day, I don't care what the national media says, because I know firsthand who Craig Stammen is, where he came from, what he represents. Going to be fascinating to see as this goes. Now, I will also tell you that there are some more important decisions to be made for the Padres. Quality bench coach. Will it be a former manager? Will it be a veteran coach who's got a world of experience to be the right-hand man to the thinking man, Craig Stammen? Who's going to be the hitting coach? They need to go get somebody with expertise. Do you know that they're about to hire their 12th hitting coach since Preller came on board? Man, a turnover there has been unbelievable. Need a first base coach, need a third base coach. I would think by Friday we'll probably have most of Craig Stammen's coaching staff put in place. Of course, the good news, the people in the bullpen, Ruben Niebla, Fritz, contract extensions, staying with the Friars, so that is huge. The press conferences, they finally held one for Craig Stammen today. It was vis-a-vis Zoom. It was really impressive. It was kind of cool. I'm just going to run through some of the hot quotes from both the new manager and from the general manager, speaking from outside the box about what they said. Craig Stammen said, I've been very fortunate. I had a bird's eye view behind the curtain, and I value all the things that I've learned in the last 3 years about the building of a baseball culture. He's talking about Preller, Josh Stein, the people to kind of make the decisions. He was allowed to be part of the inner sanctum, sit at the table during a whole series of process. He said he loves the challenge and he loves new experiences. He says he was always inquisitive. He says, I will lean on my coaches extensively. He says the best part of this organization is they listen to what other people have to say when they sit at the table. And he says this will not be a one-man Craig Stammen show. This will be a collective group together running the Padres clubhouse and in the dugout. He said it was an unbelievable privilege to pitch under Ruben Niebla in Cleveland, pitch under him in San Diego, and now have him as my confidant right-handed pitching coach. Also talked extensively about his uniqueness. He was a long-time relief pitcher. He was a long reliever, could be a part-time starter, both with Washington, Cleveland, and then with San Diego. He said intellectually, he was involved in the game from the first inning through the ninth inning because that phone would ring and he would be up and he would be in ball games. He also said that he really believes working with Ruben Niebla right now, the Padres have a lethal combo in terms of handling major league pitching. He's really excited about keeping that guy as his pitching coach. There's no doubt. He said baseball is really tough. He was very inquisitive with Mike Shildt, and prior to that with Bob Melvin. He always sat and just talked baseball with them, situations, how do you handle it, what if, whatever. It's kind of unique that he talked about the road that he has traveled. He said he partnered extensively with Andy Green when Andy Green was in his first year as manager of the Padres, and he created a bond in the clubhouse when Jace Tingler went around that clubhouse. He saw how Tingler dealt with guys. I just get the sense that Stammen was a tremendous note-taker mentally and was always inquiring about things. In terms of A.J. Preller, he said, I've seen this guy close up. And he said, we sat in the first round of Zoom interviews with the 4 hot candidates initially that they had, and Craig was part of the Zoom. I said, Craig would always ask uniquely different questions than I, AJ, or Josh Stein, the assistant, or Grupner would ask. But he said that's a byproduct of Stammen having been in the clubhouse, in the dugout, in the bullpen his entire career. And then 3 years, obviously, working a wide capacity of things in the Padres front office. He says he really believes that Stammen is just a guy who craves information about how organizations are built, the culture of organizations, player personnel situations that crop up. He said the most unique thing that he ever had with Stammen occurred in 2020 during the COVID year, because Preller and his baseball people with Peter Seidler had a executive level of veteran players who they would talk to about COVID and what to do and how to handle it. And he said Stammen was actively involved in all the conversations about how are we going to practice, the clubhouses are open, when are they going to be closed, the interaction, the travel, etc. He said he was always bringing up things from a player's perspective that he thought were very important to make sure the players and the coaches and the manager were safe during COVID. You reflect back to 2020, we had a part of a season and we had a lot of concern about COVID outbreaks in clubhouses. So AJ was unbelievably positive about the intellect of this guy. Now, he's never done it before, but they're going to provide him, obviously, with support. Bench coach, veteran coaches, maybe at first and third. They obviously have locked down the whole pitching coach situation. So it was kind of a really cool thing. But Stammen talking extensively about his working relationship intellectually with Shildt and prior to that with Bob Melvin, because they both had success other places. That's kind of interesting, gathering information. So that was the onset of what happened. The early part of my morning today was covering that Padre press conference. So you heard what the quotes I gave you from Stammen. You heard what AJ had to say. What do you say?
Well, first of all, doesn't this whole thing remind you of how George W. Bush selected Dick Cheney as vice president? Where, Cheney originally was in the panel of experts that were interviewing the candidates, and they said, oh, we're just going to give it to him instead. It's the same kind of thing. So I don't have a problem with Stammen getting the gig. I mean, he seems very deserving. Seems like he's got the intellect, the curiosity, he's got the relationships, all the things. the thing that kind of gets me is it seems like no matter what Preller would have done, he would have gotten snarky responses from fans and the media.
Only because of track record of failure.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, this whole Schultz thing kind of went sideways. Some of these quote failures, I'm not necessarily sure if they're entirely, Preller's fault. I mean, the Melvin thing was a disaster. That seemed like that was more on Melvin than it was on anyone. But going back to like if Preller, instead of hiring Stammen, hired Pujols, they'd say he's a first-time manager. He has no experience. If he went after Hundley, would have been the same thing. If he went after Niebla, they'd say, oh, he's a pitching coach. Pitching coaches can't be managers. Then he would have made a move for Scott Service, who has experience. They're like, that guy is just a
retread.
Exactly, another retread. So I think it's just he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't.
Well, it's damned because he's failed at it. But again, it's hard to say Padre baseball's failed because we've had 5 great years of baseball at Petco Park. But at the end of the day, they're farther away from being a World Series franchise now than they've been over the last 5 years. And at the end of the day, we do have on AJ's resume the failure with all these different managers, whether the wrong guy or too much interference or chemistry or crappy personal relationships or toxic clubhouses. That's all there. And those are his people.
But he's going to get an extension. I mean, so they're negotiating that. So that tells you that if they didn't want him, they wouldn't be negotiating a new deal. They would have jettisoned him. I'm of the opinion that AJ Preller, I mean, he's got, pros and cons, and the list of pros and the list of cons are both a mile long. But I'd rather have him than almost any other general manager in Padres history. I mean, the guy is willing to take risks, and he's willing to try to parlay he's taking unique strategies. He's not falling into the same old trap for San Diego baseball. So I'm good with him. Hopefully Stammen's the guy. I like that hire. I say we give him a shot and give him our backing.
I sent AJ a note. I said, this guy is a gem.
Yes.
But AJ knew that.
Yeah, of course.
But again, that's my perspective of having dealt with Stammen from the minute he got here. And I had met him prior when he was with the Washington Nationals. And he was part of a good young pitching staff that when the first group of pitchers, they had a rotation that had come into place there. Now, unfortunately, all those guys broke down physically. This is before the Strasburg Juan Soto era, but this was the first group of Washington National pitchers. They were a whole bunch of really good young arms. That's when I first met him. So sharp dude. Let's see where it goes. So the Padres have checked off the first box, manager.
Right.
They checked off the second box by keeping Niebla and Ben Fritz. Now the most important time of the offseason has begun. You better find some damn pitching because right now there is no cease. Michael King has been offered the $22 million qualifying offer, but he wants to go out in the market and get a multi-year deal. There will be no Yu Darvish for at least one calendar year, and the great unknown is how long it takes Joe Musgrove to come back to be the Joe Musgrove that we knew prior to the elbow surgery. So there's a lot of issues that have to be done with this next box that Preller has to check off.
Hey, by the way, remember we talked about the qualifying offers like a few episodes ago? And I said, definitely give one to King and maybe to Cease. And that's what they did. But they didn't give a QO to Suarez or a Rise. And you were kind of aghast. They're just going to let those guys walk. But $22 million was too big of a risk for those guys.
I wouldn't have given a Rise $22 million. In terms of Suarez, the guy's got 88 career saves.
But he's a closer. I mean, is Edwin Diaz the most highly paid closer? Is he making $22 million?
Yeah, but he opted out. He's in the free agent market too.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, usually, closers they're still only pitching one inning at a time. They're not going to get, $30 million a year. They're not going to get Kershaw money.
But $22 million a year for a closer's, I think, damn good money.
Really?
So at the end of the day, I would have probably offered Suarez, but they got Mason Miller, and I'd rather take that $22 million and put it in the pot towards other people. So that next box to be checked off, a lot of work to be done there. We'll talk more about that later in the week as free agency has just started. So if you're a Padre fan, I just gave you all the hot quotes from today's Meet Craig Stammen press conference. What he said, what his general manager had to say, feel free, jump on board. You believe in this, you say thumbs up or thumbs down with this hire. Let's go from Padres baseball, move on to the next topic on the table. This involves the team with the World Series rings.
Yeah, and World Series to real life, Lee.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this has been quite an emotional week or so. We had the Dodgers win the World Series, just a fabulous fall classic. We had, obviously, the World Series parade in Los Angeles. We had the unbelievable display of fan-supported Dodger Stadium. And there's a dose of reality that kind of comes in now after the festivities have ended. The family, the wife of Alex Vesia, the Dodger relief pitcher, released the information as to why her husband left the team the day before the rosters were due to go to the World Series. And it's terrible. They lost a baby at childbirth. They saluted everybody in baseball. They put their arms around the Vesia family. Excuse me. I don't know if you noticed this. Every Dodger player had the number 51 on their cap through the whole World Series.
You know, that sounds familiar.
Every Blue Jay player had the number 51 on their Toronto cap.
Really?
Saluting, supporting the Vesia
Right
family.
on, yeah.
That was really cool. Then fans picked up the chant, let's donate money. Dodger fans and Blue Jay fans started to donate money to children's hospitals in Toronto and in Los Angeles.
Nice.
For, I think it's child heart defects.
Okay.
So Andrew Friedman, the president, the day before the World Series began, when the announcement was made that Alex Vesia was not going to be on the roster, said there's a lot more important things than just a baseball game. So here we are talking about all the great times we had watching the Dodgers Jays series and the family, obviously. Excuse me. Kind of brings us back to some reality of the real world and family, with terrible death of the child the day before the series began. And all I can say is, unless as a parent you've buried a child, you don't know the heartache. Been there. So,
man, you all right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's heavy. It's heavy to see I mean, it is real life, you know, and these ball players are going through it. And
for real people. It's like Freddie Freeman's son almost died last summer. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the outpouring of support and emotion for him. So my heart, I wept when I read the press release from Vesia's wife. But everybody in baseball put their arms around the Dodger left-handed pitcher. So tough times, you get through it. But that's the story as to why he could not pitch.
Yeah, because he was left off the roster.
Exactly.
Okay.
So anyhow, that's Dodger baseball. There's a lot to cover in Major League Baseball. Sometimes we do have to cover the personal side.
Yeah.
And the Alex Vesia story is just amazing. Okay, we'll go from that. Let's talk Angel baseball.
Oh, the Angels. How do you fix a broken franchise, Lee?
Oh, well, free agency is here. You know, they've made one move, hiring Kurt Suzuki. It's kind of odd. They've gotten a lot of positive responses from baseball people about Suzuki, smart guy, longtime catcher, worked in the front office. So he's kind of walked the same road as Craig Stammen has walked. Then they hired Mike Maddox as pitching coach. Now the bigger story is what is next? Because they got to get arms in there for Mike Maddox and Suzuki to work with. Report is that the Angels are the first team that called Shota Imanaga of the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, right on.
24-11 over 2 years, age 32. Really crafty. So if you get Imanaga here to pitch right behind Kikuchi, and Kikuchi did not have a great season in terms of win-loss record. He had no run support. His ERA is very respectable. So if the front end of your rotation is going to be Kikuchi and then Imanaga, and they have also called Merrill Kelly, Arizona Diamondbacks. He was their third starter on the rotation.
I remember him. Yeah.
He had been in Japan. So if they make a move and they can add that, that's going to change the whole look of the rotation and make them much more competitive. I still think they need more veteran bats. Maybe there's going to be a trade. But it's interesting. The Angels have laid some dominoes out there to say, we want to do this, this, and this, and this, and maybe they're going to move really quickly. There's also a report out there that one of the Japanese sluggers is interested in coming to the Angels because I guess you'd call it the Ohtani factor,
Mhm.
because Ohtani was there, liked it there, was treated very well, that the Angel logo carries a little bit of credibility still in Japan. And Murakami, and I'm trying to think what the other first baseman is. There's two power hitting Japanese free agents being posted. Angels may have an inside track at one of them, just because the word over there is that they treated Ohtani so well that they just decided that Angels might be a good landing spot. That's kind of interesting.
It is. Well, remember for the longest time, they had such terrible luck developing pitchers.
Oh, yeah.
And they were constantly with, 1-year rental pitchers. And then they drafted like pitchers every round.
Drafted 21 pitchers in one full draft. Hardly any of them have gotten here.
Yeah. So now you bring in like a former, a good pitching coach and a major league catcher, and, maybe you start to build a pitching philosophy, around the Angels. I mean, you can't count on Mike Trout's. Is he done? I mean, you can't count on him at all, can you?
He's had so many physical problems. Has he broken down? But maybe he gets a healthy season out of it. I don't know. But he didn't hit well last season. He did hit for some power, but they've got so many problems there. But if they can address the pitching, that makes them more competitive, and we'll see if they lure any free agents there. But that's interesting that, they've already got Kikuchi, and Kikuchi might become the calling card to get Imanaga. And do those two Japanese pitchers then become the calling card with the past track record they had with Ohtani to go get one of the slugging first basemen out of Japan, who are all being posted this week?
And Merrill Kelly's coming from Japan.
Yeah, well, Merrill Kelly was in Japan, came back and pitched well in Arizona.
Okay.
So interesting to see
if it is.
Connect the dots.
Well, they're going to have to do something unique there,
Yep.
To try to kickstart this thing.
Whole thing. Okay, Angel fans, Dodger fans, we hit a lot of buttons here. Feel free to jump on board. Fans Forum chat box is open because we do talk a ton of baseball here. We're not done. We've got the baseball notebook here to go around. John, where do you want to start?
Yeah, we're going to talk here about the Rockies, the Guardians, and the White House.
Boy, this one is off the charts. Now, I know this guy from a lot of different angles. I interviewed him a lot. We're talking about Paul DePodesta. He had been in the NFL, which I always thought was a strange move. Depot came from the Athletics. He was a right-hand guy to Sandy Alderson. He was one of the creative guys for Moneyball. So DePodesta had been with the Athletics. DePodesta came to the Padres. DePodesta was a general manager of the Dodgers. He went to work for Alderson with the New York Mets. Laid a lot of groundwork in terms of Moneyball, statistics, analytics, farm system. After he left virtually all these places, they all won. It's kind of interesting. And then I wake up one morning and he's left baseball and he's gone to become director of special research for the Cleveland Browns. He's been there 9 years, had some success, not to blame for the mess that is Deshaun Watson and all that other NFL stuff. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he exits Cleveland and on Friday gets hired as president of baseball operations for the Colorado Rockies. Now, can I use this term out of the box and ship it to Denver?
Yeah.
That's kind of really interesting. I know DePodesta. I've interviewed him multiple times, sat and drank coffee with him. I went to Vero Beach 3 years in a row while I was working for the Dodgers. I found him really unique. He's going to hire his own people. He's going to fix that farm system. And the groundwork he laid, what he did with the Oakland Athletics with Alderson, what he did in a brief period of time with the Padres, he did lay the groundwork with Dodger baseball. What he accomplished with the Mets, it's kind of impressive. So anything's better than what we got in Colorado. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
43 and 119. Anything's got to be better.
For sure.
But I got friends in Cleveland said, you're not going to believe this. Depot has left. And they knew that I had a relationship with DePodesta. And this one, they kept it behind the curtain. Nobody knew that he was talking about going back to baseball. So he goes to Colorado with a clean piece of paper. Fascinating story. Next topic. Boy, this is dark. This Cleveland Guardians story. Gambling. The indictments handed down yesterday against ace closer Emmanuel Clase and young starting pitcher Luis Ortiz, that these guys were part of betting, prop betting, made $460,000 in prop betting by throwing pitches in the dirt and throwing pitches away. The way that I read some of the documentation, it's this thick, couldn't read it all. Some of the documentation was Clase was linked up with gamblers. Clase worked out a deal with gamblers that when I come in to pitch, the first pitch I'm going to throw will be in the dirt or be a wild pitch. Place all your bets on the first pitch I throw in the 7th inning or the 8th inning, whatever it is. And they did it. And he did it like 4 different games. It was only one pitch, but all of his gambling crew loaded their money on a prop bet that the first pitch that Clase throws in a game against the Orioles is going to be in the dirt. Lay your money there. And he threw it in the dirt.
That's a weird prop bet.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And then Clase introduced the young pitcher, Luis Ortiz, a starting pitcher, and he started to do the same thing. And they've got all this, I guess, wiretap or text information. Ortiz texting people. First pitch, 3rd inning against the Red Sox will be a wild pitch. Place your bets. Jesus. So anyhow, they arrested these guys yesterday. They set their bond at $500,000 each.
They're just idiots.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And we're talking, Clase had just signed a $20 million a year contract, and he's doing this.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So that's a horrible story there. Do I have to talk about this third thing that you posted here? I don't know why you put this logo of the White House up there. Okay, here we go. Your president. Over the weekend, President Trump. Now, he's pardoned a lot of people that I don't agree with at all. He pardoned Darryl Strawberry from all of his convictions. Strawberry, of course, legendary slugger, Mets, Dodgers, etc. A lot of problems in life. Convicted tax evasion, convicted of cocaine possession, served 11 months in prison, massive problems with the IRS. Anyhow, Strawberry got sober. Strawberry did 11 months in the slam. Strawberry paid back with penalties all the IRS money. So Trump pardoned Strawberry. I'm willing to say, okay, I accept that, because Strawberry made good on all the wrongs he committed in the course of his life. But that being said, I'm sorry. Your president pardoning slimeball Rudy Giuliani.
That's a whole different thing.
Your president pardoning everybody that was in prison for January 6th as if it never happened. Sorry. Anyhow, so that's item 1 involving your president. Then your president sounds off on Friday and says, I made this possible. I think they should name the new NFL stadium in Washington, D.C. after me. And the uproar was unbelievable. Again, Josh Harris, owner of the Washington Commanders, formerly the Redskins, they have worked a massive financial deal with unique financing. Trump kind of approved it. Trump thinks they ought to name the stadium after him. And then did you see what happened at Northwest Field in Washington yesterday? Washington hosted the Detroit Lions. Trump was there.
Oh, yeah.
Ceremony at halftime to honor the military. And here's Trump in the press box reading his statement.
He was reading like the oath or something.
Yeah, he was reading the oath of the military who were being honored.
Yeah, they're being enlisted, I think.
No, it was those who served.
Okay.
And he got booed nonstop for 3 minutes in a row, to the point you could not hear what he was saying. That was an embarrassment. And even worse than that, Fox TV, during the middle of the Washington Commanders Detroit Lions game, Washington got their ass kicked. It was terrible. In the middle of that game, Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma put Trump on for 9 minutes during the play-by-play to interview him. I'm sorry. I almost had a heart attack. And here's Kenny Albert standing there, shaking his head like everything that's coming out of Trump's mouth was fine. I'm sorry. I'm so pissed at your president because he's playing golf at Mar-a-Lago. and he's at the Washington Commanders game, and we have every airline's choked to death because all the federal employees are not being paid, including the air traffic controllers. We have all the impoverished people that live in Appalachia and across the country that need food stamps and SNAP, and they can't get fed because there is no Congress. And by the way, the congressmen are being paid while all the federal workers for 40 days now are not being paid.
Right.
Yeah, you're president. You had to put the White House logo up there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's all things baseball. You have an opinion, feel free to express it. You might be on my side of the street as it relates to that president, maybe on his side of the street involving his president, but bizarre day in baseball. And this Cleveland story is just awful. Can I say tip of the iceberg? Because I tend to think it's everywhere. John, go ahead. You respond to everything I did not mean to preach, but go ahead.
Get this man a political talk show. All right, let's start with the Rockies. Now wasn't Paul DePodesta was played in the movie Moneyball by Jonah Hill, right? It was Billy Bean's wingman.
He would not let them use his name, which I thought was kind of weird, but they should have.
But that was supposed to be him, exactly. The analytics guy, that
Harvard guy.
Yeah, it was Yale in the movie.
Yeah.
But at any rate, DePodesta going to the Rockies, on one level, I'm thinking, hey, there's a kind of a smart guy that can probably do the job. But on the other end, he's one of the architects of Moneyball, which then makes me think that the Montfort, who's been a terrible owner for the Rockies, probably trying to find a way to not spend very much, So I don't know, kind of a mixed reaction. I think overall it's probably good for the Rockies. They have a competent guy there, leading the ship. So the question is, are they going to make some commitments and spending money? And I don't know. The Guardian story, the thing that just things crazy to me, like, why are they so darn dumb? Setting up these bets when, like Clase can make, tens of millions of dollars as a closer. Why would you risk your career for this? And then on top of it, when I think of prop bets, usually they're the fun bets in the Super Bowl, like who's going to win the coin toss, and which guy's going to score the first touchdown. And I know there's more exotic prop bets about various things, but whether a prop bet on whether or not the first pitch is a ball in the dirt, I mean, the only people that are betting on that are people that have inside information from someone like Clase or
red light, red flag,
or just complete degenerate gambling addicts.
Probably a combination of both.
Yeah. Who would be voting on whether or not the first pitch was a ball in the dirt?
And you don't think MLB security or the casinos won't have a red flag pop up when all of a sudden all this money is coming in the final seconds before Clase comes on the mound?
Yeah. And on some really obscure bet. So that was odd to me. Now, I will say this about the White House. I think pardoning Darryl Strawberry is awesome, because my understanding is that, he had tax evasion, but he paid the money back.
And cocaine, went to prison.
He went to prison for cocaine charges because he just had possession of cocaine and marijuana. He wasn't out there, no one was getting hurt, so but he had the prior offense with the tax evasion. So my understanding is he served his time already. It's not like they're letting him out of prison. He served his time. He's reformed his life, and the story was, I guess, that the phone rang at his house, and he picked it up, and they said, hey, we have the president of the United States on the phone for you. And he's like, what? And he put it on speakerphone, and then him and his wife got to hear the message, and that'd be pretty special. Whether or not you like Trump or not, getting a call from the president that says he's going to pardon you, I think is great. I think that's a great message. All the other stuff that you mentioned, we can have a side conversation about a lot of that. But by the way, I like it when the president of the United States, I don't care who it is, when they get in the booth and they kind of yuck it up, with the guys and talk a little sports and the president's connection to sports. But if it turns into like a political platform soapbox, then I've got a problem.
9 minutes of lies in the middle of my NFL game, please.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because people generally want to escape from, all the headaches in life, including politics, when they watch sports, so. But yeah, it's Trump, it makes sense. He's going to want to have his name branded everywhere. So, 100 years from now, America will never forget him. And it's no wonder he wants to get his name on the stadium. Is he going to donate money to put his name on it? Probably not.
Well, everybody else Naming rights. Trump's got more money than God now by virtue of crypto and all the other crap.
Well, he'll
give me your money. You want your name on the stadium? Give me your money. Help Washington, D.C. fund the stadium. You want to be the sponsor? Give me your money.
Yeah, well, Trump wants the money to go to him and get the name on the stadium. So, yeah, well, this is supposed to be baseball. We're actually talking football.
Okay. With apologies in advance, I can't help his politics. I'm just putting topics on the table. Let's move on. Hey, you got an opinion about what we just talked about? Fans Forum chat box is open for business. We're going from all things that were baseball, spin it. We're going to talk some college football.
College football. This was a tough one. The Aztecs ambushed on the islands.
Boy, oh boy. Not a nice time in paradise. That was not what I expected. That was not San Diego State. Press conference today was, not going to say morbid, but the coach was in real defensive mode today, Sean Lewis. I mean, the Aztecs got nailed at Hawaii. I thought they got ambushed by formations. They got ambushed by a mobile quarterback. They got ambushed by 4 wide receivers in a run and shoot. I thought they got beat on both sides at the line of scrimmage, which was really stunning. Michael Alahada, the redshirt freshman quarterback, threw for 326 and 3 touchdowns. Hawaii burned them for an 86-yard kickoff return and a 53-yard pick six along the way. Bad night for Jaden Denegal. At the end of the day, young quarterback, he can't win games by himself. He was 10 for 27 throwing the football. They were 2 for 14 on third downs along the way. It was just a bad outing. I'm willing to accept it as a one-off. They got ambushed on the islands. Now, that being said, got to pick up the pieces. Horrible travel coming home. Long delays. They did not get home till 8:30 a.m. Sunday morning. That game started at 5 o'clock Hawaii time.
Yeah, 8 o'clock for us.
Yeah. Did not get back here till 8:30. So it's changed everything in terms of meetings and practice. Short work week. Here comes Boise State. First place showdown. The winner of this grabs first place back in the Mountain West. The loser probably is out. One other sidebar note. I don't know why he's acted this way. I've been a huge proponent, backer of John David Wicker. Why he would be so defiant talking about the ticket price controversy and the empty seats at San Diego State, because everybody else is talking about it. Just defiant. He just flat out responded, we have to pay for this stadium. Well, the community's not responded. They're not coming to see what I think has been a pretty electric Aztec football season. They're not paying these prices for that stadium. But why be so defiant? At the end of the day, they need to sit down when this football season is over, and they need to rip up every contract they have as it relates to tickets at the stadium. What they need to do, they do have the skyboxes. You price what you can for that and hope you can get corporate to buy it. Every other seat in the house should be priced at $50 to $60 at the top and a low price of $25, and cut the damn parking from $40 down to $10. Make this thing reasonable. You have 32,000 every game with parking is a hell of a lot better than having 17,000, half of them being free and getting virtually no parking and no ticket sales. If I were king, that's what I would do. And I'm not standing behind the banner, we're going to the Pac-12, because the new Pac-12 is Mountain West 2.0, and you're not going to charge $200 a ticket to go see the new Pac-12. That's what I would do. I just don't understand why J.D. Wicker is so defiant in terms of we haven't made a mistake. Well, you got so many damn empty seats. Yeah, sure looks like you have an Aztec for life with apologies in advance. That sounds fraudulent to me because I don't find any Aztecs for life coming to support their alma mater. One man's opinion. Fans Forum chat box is open for San Diego State fans, friends, and alum. Aztec frauds are invited. Give me your response. What happened at Hawaii and my response to, you didn't know this. I drank too much coffee this morning.
I did not, man, you showed up feisty.
I did not drink Red Bull.
You're itching for a fight.
I did not drink Red Bull. But anyhow, go ahead. Your response to what happened in the game, and
that was a rough game.
J.D. Wicker.
That was a rough game, man. And I just when Hawaii had the ball, like their receivers would go on these 15-yard outs near the sideline. There's no one around them.
Yeah.
they were completing passes. I mean, granted, it was an accurate quarterback, give him credit, but the defense was somewhere else. And I'm like, how did we not scout this the right way? I was expecting this swarming defense that we've seen these previous weeks. And then on offense, they hand the ball off to Lucky Sutton, and it's a mob scene at the offensive line. A guy gets like half yard or a yard part of carry. And then, to Denegal, he gets the ball and he's back there. And when you think, the timing is right, like 1, 2, 3, get the ball out, he was holding it. And maybe it looked like he was doubting himself. I don't know what he was seeing downfield, if their defense was overwhelming, but seemed like he was doubting himself, and he would hold the ball too long and have to rush a throw or make a bad pass or something.
And they got their butts kicked at the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I did not expect this outcome at all. And we said this is supposed to be a business trip. I think the boys got a little bit, sidetracked.
No, they got whacked. And the same thing happened at Washington State. They played well early up there in Pullman. They played well early here. Their first 2 defensive possessions, they had interception, pressure, quarterback sacks. And it totally fell apart. And they just did not deal with the adversity. From the 3rd series on, when the Rainbows had the ball, it was terrible. And it just got progressively worse and worse.
Yeah.
All right. Your reaction to the defiance of the athletic director?
See, my bet is that the whole economic model from the beginning has just been blown up. They probably thought, hey, when they were building this, Aztec football, we own this city, one team. Chargers are gone. This is for us. They're building this thing. And they figured everyone's going to show up because they had the great track record in the Rocky Long era. And then all of a sudden, everything just went to hell in a handbasket. The COVID hit. They're going up to, Carson to play ball. Brady Hoke's return was not as successful as some people liked. And then meanwhile, all the NIL and transfer portal, and there was a separation of the power conferences and the group of whatever conferences. And it's like the whole world shifted over the past 4 or 5 years. And now they were probably thinking, yeah, we're going to be able to charge $150, $200 for some of our premium seats. And now you got to cut those by half or 25%. So that whole economic model, I'm thinking J.D. Wicker's thinking, yeah, we made a hell of an investment here on the university to build the stadium, and we thought we were going to make our payback in X number of years. I think you got to blow it up and kind of reset your expectations of what this stadium's financial model should be.
Well, that coupled with the fact you are getting revenue from soccer. You've got 2 soccer franchises that are renting those facilities.
Oh,
and you do have other events that are going in there.
Yeah.
So there is some revenue streams there, but I'd much rather have 32,000 every home game with $10 parking and anywhere from $30 to $60 tickets. You sell your skyboxes for whatever you can sell to corporate America. I'd rather 32,000 every game rather than have 17,000, half of them free, and virtually no revenue stream at all. I think they've mishandled this right from the get-go.
Well, they made bad assumptions, and the world shifted on them. So they're going to have to revise the model. But if you discount the heck out of ticket prices and parking, it's going to be hard for them to lift that price up over time. Now, as fans, we want cheap prices. As fans, we want to give away tickets to the students to fill it up, to create the energy. But, the reality is that stadium is an expense, and they've got to have revenue to cover their expenses. So I don't know what the books look like on this whole thing, but at minimum, they should be able to take the end zone seats, the nosebleed seats, and at least make those dirt cheap, even if you want to hold the premium value of the 50-yard line chair.
Okay. We go from Aztec. Feel free to join us. That's why we're doing this Fans Forum segment. When we're done, we're going from Aztec football to the college scoreboard. We're just going to move through this quickly. Wow, what a weekend.
Great games, Lee.
Let's start with the Oregon Ducks. That game in Iowa City in the driving rain. Dante Moore just makes some unbelievable passes on the final drive of the game. How about the Ducks coming out of character? We can't throw it because it's raining sideways. No problem. We're going to run for 261 yards. And Iowa, which has historically not been a great offensive team, put up a hell of a fight. But Oregon is Oregon. What a great game. The Ducks won that. Only superseded by what happened at State College, Pennsylvania. That whiteout Penn State, 106,000, Beaver Stadium, Indiana Hoosiers in big trouble. That game flipped in the second half. Penn State became what Penn State used to be under Joe Paterno. We're going to run the ball, damn it. And what are you going to do about it? And they climbed back into the game and they took the lead. And I thought, here, Indiana season is over. And Fernando Mendoza, the Cal transfer quarterback, he took him 80 yards in 75 seconds with no timeouts, and then throws a touchdown on the back line of the end zone. Thank goodness for replay.
That was incredible.
That was an incredible finish to the game. Indiana is still unbeaten. Penn State, man, did they put up quite a fight. USC, they got a problem on their hands. Big Ten's going to nail them. USC posted a victory this past weekend, beat Northwestern. Trojans are 7-2. Jaden Mayava goes for 299, couple more touchdowns. Third string running back King Miller, another big game, 129 yards rushing. But they're going to get socked by the Big Ten. I don't know if you're aware of this. In the game in the second quarter, they were about to punt to Northwestern, and they put a guy wearing a punter's jersey number into punt. But it wasn't their punter. It was their third quarterback, Sam Heward. He wore number 80, which is the number of the punter.
Yeah.
Northwestern never picked up on it. Boom, he gets a long snap, fakes the kick, throws a first down completion. They get out and score. Wound up being a difference in the game. They pulled one over on Northwestern. The Big Ten says, no, that you can't do that. So I bet there's going to be a fine, maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000. I think they're going to nail USC. Lincoln Riley was, look what I did. It's kind of stretching the playing rules.
Yeah.
You know, college football does have, because of the numbers of guys, multiple players wearing the same number. It's
Because
usually
they have like 100, more than 100 guys.
Yeah, at home games.
Yeah.
Everybody dresses. So, but they don't play. But there were two number 80s there. One is the punter who always wore number 80, and Sam Heward, who showed up wearing number 80, had never worn it before. And they sprung it on Northwestern.
Yeah, that's a quarterback number.
Yeah, not so. So anyhow, so that's USC's storyline. Keep an eye out. The sanctions coming there. UCLA, wow. They got whacked by Nebraska. Yeah, they fought back at the end, but they got killed by Nebraska. They are 3-6. Now they've got another 2-game losing streak around their neck. And where do they go Saturday? Horseshoe, Ohio State. Has anybody in modern day football scored 100 points against somebody?
Oh.
UCLA at Ohio State.
Wow.
Ooh. Anyhow, college football, go ahead. You got a comment.
Yeah, a few. I just remember watching the college game day, and they were, you know, when they do the pick'ems, and everyone picked the Ducks over, you know, the Hawkeyes. But Kirk Herbstreit said, no, I think Iowa's going to win this, and they're going to win it ugly, you know, on a field goal at the end. It'll be something like 16-13. He was almost right.
Oh, it was ugly. It was raining sideways.
Exactly. So he almost had it right. That IU game, the way that Penn State went ahead, and then IU with like 2 minutes or something like that left on the clock and marched all the way down the field. And, you know, what's his name? Fernandez, right? Is that his last
Fernando
name?
Mendoza.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Cal
Fernando Mendoza has been tremendous.
Yep.
I mean, no one would have thought of this guy as a Heisman Trophy winner, but I think this dude deserves it.
Well, he's right there in the hunt. I got to vote. It's going to be complicated, but he's right there in the hunt. But he's not the type of quarterback that throws for 426.
No.
He throws for 215, but they're all meaningful touchdowns.
And they're all really, well thrown passes. He did a great job. So IU football fans have got to be going bonkers right now. Number 2 in the nation, undefeated. This is rarefied air for Hoosier Nation.
If nobody stumbles, number 1 versus number 2 in the Big Ten championship game.
Do they play in the regular season?
No.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's going to be brilliant.
Yep.
That's going to be great fun to watch. The SC thing, I know when it first happened, I thought, hey, good on Lincoln Riley. I like it when coaches are sort of clever and they can figure out a loophole through the rule book.
You don't like sportsmanship, do you?
Well, no, it's just, you know, it's a thinking man's game. So, you know, because you got to protect against, you know, the fake punt anyways. But then, you know, then you find out, okay, maybe that wasn't the rule book. Okay. If so, it's cheating. You got to penalize him. But the kid's name was Heward. Was that any relation to the other? Weren't there 2 other Heward brothers?
Brock Heward was a quarterback at the University of Washington. Sam came from Washington. He was recruited there and then wound up at SC.
Oh, okay. So he must be like a 5th-year senior or something like that. And yeah, so that, by the way, what's your whole take on this? Because I remember, I think I mentioned this on a previous show. I was a little kid. I had one of those electric football games. And then the little figurines of the football players, you would have to put numbers on their back. And they gave you a guide that said quarterbacks are supposed to have a number between 1 and 19. And running backs between 20 and 39. And linebackers were in the 50s or the 60s. Okay. And the NFL has held pure to that rule for a long time. College then began giving the exotic single-digit numbers to linemen and stuff probably, 10 years ago?
Yep.
And that caused a little bit of confusion. So if the punter had a punter number, which usually the kickers are single-digit numbers, then there wouldn't have been any sort of a confusion.
Except, though, it didn't matter what his number was. Hewitt put on a number that was already given to the regular putter.
Right.
So it was double identity.
But yeah, it is. But it was clever on the way they did that. And by the way, when he threw that pass, I was like, oh, that dude knows how to throw the ball. He ain't just he's
not a punter.
No, he's not.
Okay, that's all things college football. Hey, we get to halftime. Hope you're enjoying this podcast. We're kind of firing a lot of shots today. I didn't drink any Red Bull. Sometimes I think he does. But anyhow, this podcast is brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. What I like most about Dixieline, it's gotten really chilly at night, finally, here in San Diego. My house is always warm, and I haven't even turned the heat on yet because I got windows and I got doors from Dixieline Lumber. That's just one of the many, many facets of things that Dixieline does for you. John, take the ball, don't fumble it. Let's talk about windows and doors.
Yeah, windows and doors it's a very competitive business, Lee. You go online, windows and door companies advertise on TV. There's a lot of them out there. But the great thing about Dixieline when it comes to windows and doors is this is a company that's been in business for over 100 years in San Diego. You can trust them, to set up this the right way. They're not an overnight, come and go company. This is a business that you can count on. And that's the greatest thing about Dixieline is they've helped home builders in San Diego for over 100 years. They've helped homeowners do remodels and get replacement doors and windows,
including this dummy.
Yes. So, if anything in a project were to go wrong, and you've got it, no one likes that when that happens, but we're human and sometimes mistakes are made. The guys at Dixieline are going to work with you because they have a brand reputation in San Diego. They don't want to screw that up. They want to maintain that. And it's a company you can feel comfortable doing business with.
Dixieline Lumber, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Just go to the website, Dixieline.com, to see what they have to offer. Hey, we're at halftime. A couple of business notes. When we're done with this podcast, you take over this podcast. We do this thing, it's called Fans Forum. We put topics on the table. John and I argue back and forth. Then we open it up to you to participate in Fans Forum. John, for all the new people on the live stream, how do they join us?
Well, you can get involved, and a lot of you are involved. You should see the smack talk going on right now, Lee. And there's even like a little bit of people getting angry with you, taking some political shots in this podcast. But at any rate, it's all good. So if you have a question or comment in the world of sports, just go onto the live chat on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. We'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
A couple of other items. I write about sports every day of the week on my website. Have you ever checked my website? You won't believe the amount of information that's there every day. It's there first thing every morning. Go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com. And you, regardless of what the sport is, you'll find something every day in all the different categories we have. Best 15 minutes in sports, my rather opinionated one man's opinion column. We invite you to do that. And by the way, you can join my Hacksaw Insiders group when you go to the website. Right on the homepage, there's a big orange box. Fill that out and get on our email list. We send out special emails twice a day to you sports fans. It's absolutely free. Want you to share. Tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Subscribe. When you subscribe on the YouTube channel, you will get the alerts every time we put additional videos up on the YouTube channel. We do that 5 to 7 times during the course of the week. Want you to join me on social media. Want you part of my Hacksaw's Twitter All-Star team. Just go to X, type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, hit the follow button. And of course, you can help us make this thing grow. We just busted through 9,000 subscribers in just over 3 years, which is just amazing following. You can join us. Follow, give us a thumbs up, give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us a great deal. All things, we're on every bloody social platform there is. You don't know how freaking big we are in TikTok and China. It's unbelievable. John's laughing. This is all John's fault. John's the one that created this whole aura.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. Getting you out there. And you're like a blowtorch signal, man. You've got a ton of sports content. We just need to put a microphone in front of you and get it out on the internet.
Okay, all that, because we do sports talk the way it should be done on this podcast, and your fans forum comments are still to come. John, let's move to the second half. We're going to talk all things NFL.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Chargers with a quarterback shootout with the Steelers.
Quarterback survival. Man, that was a tough game to watch. That was a grind of a game. That was rock'em slock'em. That was kind of old 1950s football. Chargers beat the Steelers 25-10. It was a Sunday slugfest. It's kind of a night of survival. Justin Herbert just got battered. And for the first time, I did not think he was going to get up. He injured both ankles. Herbert, 5 sacks, finished with 220 throwing the football, got hit 8 other times. Cam Vidal, the young second-year running back, saved him. They couldn't do anything offensively till the second half. He had 95 yards rushing, most of them in the second half. Led McConkey, catch me if you can. He wound up with 4 catches for 107 yards. Defense had 3 takeaways. Defense just made Aaron Rodgers' life absolutely miserable. Pittsburgh had all types of problems with penalties. Cameron Dicker, 59-yard field goal. Chris Boswell, Pittsburgh's guy, had a 59-yard field goal too. Chargers win it. They're sitting there at 7-3. They go to Jacksonville next, then they get the bye week, and then they start to play real people. Pittsburgh's just a mess. I thought it was really fascinating. I like Chris Collinsworth. I've known him a long time, interviewed him a bunch of times. What did Chris Collinsworth say during the course of that broadcast last night about the Steelers? Exact same damn thing I've said all year. Pedestrian offense, don't have anybody with speed to get down the field to help the big wide receiver, Metcalf. Not the running backs that they used to be. So Chris Collinsworth, thank you for listening to this podcast.
I was going to say, is he plagiarizing you? Is he lifting content from you?
No, smart minds can see what is going on there.
It's interesting in that game. I mean, first of all, it started off, what was it, 2-3 or 3-2 for a while, which is
in the 4th inning.
Yeah. So it was an interesting game how the thing evolved. One of the things I noticed about Aaron Rodgers, other than the fact that his helmet looks like he has like a little visor on the front, but I noticed just the way that when he would go like 1, 2, 3, boom, and he would throw the ball, it was a quick drop throw, but he was throwing the ball from his ear. Mm-hmm. He wasn't doing like a wind up and throw.
Flick of the wrist.
Like a flick, yeah. And it was interesting to see how the ball was coming out. And then I started thinking, has he always been that way?
Yes.
Okay, I just never really saw it that way.
Well, his problem is he was having to move the pocket all the time. The pass protection was terrible. Mm-hmm. And he'd never had clear looks at people, and he was just flicking the ball to get it out of there. And he took hits, he took sacks along the way. I mean, he's still dynamic enough to make some plays, but last night he did not. Now, he had open guys in the first half. He had guys wide open. He just couldn't get the ball to him, or he overthrew him.
Well, there was that one of the interceptions that was right in his hands, bounced up in the air, and it got picked off by the Chargers.
Yeah, DK Metcalf open by 10 yards.
Oh, I remember that one.
Down the sideline right at the start of the first quarter. Would have changed the whole bloody game. Might have made it 10-0. Instead, he overshot him.
So this team has got so much trouble that they're 7-3. I mean, who would have thunk?
Yeah.
They can't survive, though, can they?
Well, no. Pittsburgh's not 7-3.
No. I mean, I'm talking about the Chargers.
Oh, the Chargers are 7-3, and they'll go to Jacksonville, should win that because Jacksonville is ripped by injuries. But then they come home, they get a bye week, but the problems are enormous in the offensive line.
Yeah, exactly.
And they start playing real people after they come out of this bye.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where
but Alt is out for the year?
Oh, yeah, surgery.
Okay, and Slater, of course, out for the year.
Yeah.
What was that other guy? Hart.
Bobby Hart. He's out indefinitely.
Indefinitely.
And the rest of the guys are playing really poorly.
Like, I mean, Becton, did he play much?
Yeah. See those guys go by him? And his center's been terrible.
Bozeman?
Yeah, and Zion Johnson broke down again. I mean, when your quarterback takes 5 sacks and 8 other hits, and I mean, he got hammered so bad. I mean, he got hurt. It looked almost like a hip drop tackle that maybe should have been a penalty flag, but the play happened so doggone quickly, and he was going down and he fell backwards. I don't think there was any intent by the Steeler guy sacking him, but he took so many wicked shots. He's been sacked 33 times now.
Well, you had that one, was it pressures? It was like 158 so far for the year. Something crazy.
Pressures and hits through the roof, and 33 sacks.
That's a beating.
And there's no way at this point. This is not on Joe Ortiz. They just got so many injuries. You can't go find offensive linemen. I'll be intrigued to see the guy they traded for from New Orleans, because I liked him coming out, Trevor Penning, but New Orleans got rid of him. They tried him at 3 different positions and said, that's it. And they traded a kid they took in the first round. They only got a 6th-round pick for him. So I don't know that Penning's an answer either.
Dumpster diving.
Oh, boy. Okay, we go from all things Chargers. You got a comment? Feel free to join us. Let's talk about the other team in LA, because this is the team we ought to be talking about.
Yeah, the LA Rams against the Niners. It was a West Coast war.
Yeah, let's talk about this. These two teams went after each other. Quarterbacks went after each other. The Rams post another victory. The Rams are 7-2. They should be 9-0. Had they not had kicking problems, they'd be 9-0. Defense was just unbelievable. LA post a 42-26 win. Matthew Stafford throws for 280 and four touchdowns. Matthew Stafford now has 25 touchdowns and 2 picks this season.
That's amazing.
His career his career quarterback rating has never been this high. It's like 119 now for a 37-year-old quarterback. He's just playing really well. Threw 4 touchdown passes to 4 different wide receivers. He's got 13 touchdowns in his last 3 games. He's gone 6 straight games with no interceptions.
Wait, go back to that. 13 touchdowns in his last 3 games?
3 starts, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he's wheeling and dealing. They're averaging 401 yards per game on offense. Right now, they're a complete football team. Now, I don't know what the hell you're doing Sunday, but you'd be watching Rams, Seattle Sunday.
Oh, that'll be good.
Oh, big time in the NFC West again. So, all things Rams football. And by the way, the defense is just blasting people. Ton of sacks, takeaways, and they play with their hair on fire. It's just, and Sean McVay is such a great coach. Holy cow, he's got these guys so motivated. It's pretty impressive.
Did you see the Stafford's no-look pass? Where he was like, what was he doing? He was like looking this way and he threw it that way.
Yeah.
And it was a touchdown pass to one of the tight ends. And I was like, this guy's playing on a different level.
Yep. And
when they got Matthew Stafford, I expected him to be like kind of an older quarterback, that was kind of on the tail end of his career.
Well,
but it's like this guy's playing like a young kid.
Got him in the Super Bowl. He did get battered, has had injury problems. This year, the protection's been unbelievable. He's getting the ball out of there real quick. He's got a lot of people. A lot of skilled people.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, right now the Niners, I'm shocked they're doing as well as they are.
Well, they're hanging on for dear life. Their head's above water, but they're starting to sink by virtue of the injuries. And Mac Jones he's hung in there. He's played pretty well for them. Now they think Brock Purdy's going to try to play this week, but how long before it goes down again? He's always
they just signed him to that big contract too.
Okay, Rams fan, join us. Stafford. I mean, in modern day, 25 touchdowns and 2 picks. That's absolutely amazing.
That's wow.
Okay, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard.
Okay, let's get the big board up here. Start with the Patriots.
New England Patriots beat Tampa Bay. Kind of beat them real badly, but Tampa Bay has got so many injuries. Baker Mayfield just cannot do it by himself. The Pats have now won 7 in a row. Belichick's in the rearview mirror.
Totally.
Oh, totally. Drake May throws for 270. Travion Henderson, young running back, Ohio State, 147 on the ground, including 63-yard touchdown run right at the end that sealed the victory. New England is really playing well. Denver, man, that was ugly Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
That set football back.
That was a bad game.
There's something not right with the Broncos. I don't understand where they are offensively, why it's been such a struggle. They're paying Cortland Sutton a ton of money. How come Sean Payton's not targeting him a lot? I mean, that guy should get 10 passes a game and see if he can catch 5 or 6 per game. He's a great talent, but he's not. He's had games where he catches 2 balls. How's that possible? They're not getting what they thought they were going to get out of their tight end. They signed Evan Ingram. J.K. Dobbins is running the ball a little bit better. but they're living off their defense. This is a pretty unimpressive 8-2 Bronco team offensively. It's a pretty impressive 8-2 Bronco team. 42 sacks on the season.
Oh yeah,
Denver.
they're tough.
Yeah, and third down conversions. Good luck to you on third down if you think you can convert this. And the Raiders are going in the wrong direction. Holy cow, 188 yards in offense. Geno Smith just looks terrible. Got hurt. They got Genty. They have no offensive line. Brock Bowers, they didn't target very much this past week. He'd caught 12 the week prior. Raiders are just in disarray. Not in disarray is Seattle. Seattle wallops Arizona. They did something in the first half last night against Arizona you never see. DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end, ex-Dallas Cowboy, picked up 2 fumbles, took one back for 33, the other back for 44, and scored both of them. And you don't see that. And Sam Darnold just continues to do well. Defense had 5 sacks to go with the fumble recoveries in that Seattle victory over Arizona. Indianapolis survived the Atlanta Falcons. Colts are 8-2. Thank you, Jonathan Taylor. He ran for 244. He stampeded Atlanta's defense, 3 touchdowns. Now, I don't know what's going on with Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones all of a sudden is starting to play like Daniel Jones played with the Giants. Picks, fumbles, sacks. He's thrown 4 interceptions and fumbled 6 times in his last 2 games.
But they're 8-2.
They're 8-2. Exactly. He took 7 sacks yesterday. So suddenly Indianapolis is kind of leaking oil a little bit, but they are 8-2. Miami. Please explain this.
This was crazy.
Or to quote Jim Rome, drug test.
I know.
How the hell is Miami beat Buffalo?
I don't know.
Please explain that to me. Just the shocker. Devon Deshane, the big running back, big game, 174 yards. That might be the second best game of his entire career. Tua threw for 173. Awful lot on Josh Allen. He can't do it by himself. They didn't run the football worth a lick. I don't know how Miami played this level of defense. Haven't played this level of defense all season long. They posted the victory. New York Jets beat Cleveland. 74-yard punt return for a touchdown, 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown for the Jets. They had to do that because their starting quarterback threw for 54 yards. In modern-day NFL football, it is 2025, is it not?
Yeah.
How can you have an NFL starting quarterback throw for 54 yards? Thank you, Justin Fields.
That's ridiculous.
That's amazing. But they had the 2 big touchdown returns of 74 and 99 as they beat the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns just scuffling and struggling.
Well, I'm happy for Aaron Glenn, getting that win.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Jets, that's good. But let's talk about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, is he the MVP, a midseason MVP?
At this point, yeah. At this point, he's surpassed, obviously, all things Derrick Henry in Baltimore. He's the leading rusher in the league right now. He's heavy duty. It's not like he's galloping for 81-yard touchdown run, or he just had an 83-yard touchdown run. But it's not like he's bursting. He's doing heavy duty stuff. He's averaging, 24, 28 carries a game, and he's pounding it. Yeah.
So, I mean, good on him. I mean, he's a refreshing, something exciting in Indianapolis.
He's been there too. It's not like he's just new. He's been there a long time, 4, 5, 6 years as their lead bell cow running back.
Now, that game was in Berlin. And I remember Sunday morning, you get to tune in. You got an NFL game early on. You like that?
It's okay.
I mean, that way we have like 4 NFL games to watch on a Sunday.
Yeah, I got to do that. Plus, I have to write everything for my website. So, I mean, I get to 8 o'clock Sunday night. I'm kind of face down on the carpet.
Well, I know. How long did you last for that Aztec game in Hawaii?
I went to bed shortly after halftime.
Yeah, and that's about. By then, we kind of knew the game was over.
Yeah. And then they returned the opening kickoff in the second half for 86 yards.
Yeah, that was a beatdown. But yeah, right now you could literally watch football from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep on Sundays.
I had a lot of problem in my house if I did it that way, but maybe you have problems in your house I don't know about. Okay, you got comments about the NFL? Feel free to jump on board. We're not done. We got NFL notebook stories to talk about here too.
Yeah, names in the news. Paul Tagliabue has left us.
Legendary commissioner, National Football League. He took the league from the level that Pete Rose established it as a successful sports league. He took the brand to big business. What Tagliabue did on a lot of different levels is historic. He was only commissioner for 17 years in all, but as he was commissioner, he did phenomenal things. Item one, labor peace. He had a unique relationship, a partnership with Gene Upshaw. And usually pro sports and the head of the union, it's like no man's land. It's like a war. Not in the NFL during the Tagliabue, Gene Upshaw era. That era also included free agency, things of that nature. Never a work stoppage while Tagliabue was a commissioner. It's been a work stoppage in everything in life, every year, especially in sports, but not in the National Football League. The other thing, he helped create and grow the mega TV deals. He oversaw the expansion and the building of a lot of new stadiums. There was obviously expansion into Cleveland, Carolina, other places. He did a lot of unbelievable things. He came up with the idea of the Rooney Rule. Interviews, minorities, black coaches. Now, there's some bumps in the road, but the concept worked early on. I don't know if it needs to be refined, rethought. Rooney Rule now is not quite what the intent was when Tagliabue brought it into being. He just created an aura of big business. There is a negative, though, and it really bothered me. I mean, I lost my mind watching Kenny Albert interview your president. Every network show had a salute to Tagliabue, and rightfully so. He's in the Hall of Fame and what he did over 17 years. Do you know not one of those shows mentioned the concussion lawsuit? And I will forever hold it against him. Now, he is in the Hall of Fame. I don't know they would have gotten my Hall of Fame vote because I know a lot of inside stuff about what happened when it was first brought front and center about concussions, dementia, Alzheimer's, suicides, and Tagliabue did nothing. He formed a bogus committee, a head committee, and he had his personal doctor lead it who had no history of dealing with brain injuries. And the whole thing was a sham. Eventually, they got sued. Eventually, they had to settle. Eventually, we had a concussion program now that's in effect, which is awarded enormous amounts of money. But they were forced into it rather than go to court. They would have lost everything had they gone to court. But while he was commissioner, Tagliabue totally ignored it. And I swear I will go to my grave that there are some team physicians that woke up one morning, John, with conscience. And they presented documents that showed there had been communications back and forth that we believe concussions have led to dementia or Alzheimer's. And we believe we need to do research for what then became CTE, which now proves the point. And we had all these player suicides. They had 45 player suicides. Tagliabue just totally ignored it as if sucks to be them. It was terrible. And I'll never forget, I had a Charger player tell me a quote, and it also was part of the stuff the union mentioned, that under Tagliabue, the whole response was, you got a problem? You're going to sue us? Delay, deny, and hope you die.
Whoa.
I had a Charger player tell me that.
Whoa.
Who was afflicted. It's everywhere. So that's the one thing that really bothered me is none of the TV network shows as they did the salute to Tagliabue, talked about his life career, not one brought up that whole mess. And if you don't believe me, read the book. If you don't believe me, watch the movie Concussion. It's out there. It'll tell you a story. So anyhow, that's Paul Tagliabue. Second topic on the table. They got him. New York Giants fired their coach, Brian Daboll, today. And that situation is such a mess. They've lost so many bad games. I don't think he was qualified. His career record with the Giants was 20, 40, and 1. And battered by injuries. Bad front office. Bad drafts. Jackson Dart got hurt again yesterday. 4th time he's had to go to the blue tent this season to be evaluated. Now they think he does have a concussion. But Brian Daboll, I just think, was a misfit. as a head coach. And they've had so many bad head coaches there. The Mara family needs to do something different in terms of who's advising them, whom they should hire, but he just got fired. In Dallas, interesting story in the aftermath of the terrible suicide with Marshawn Kneeland, the young linebacker out of Western Michigan who killed himself last week. Micah Parsons is paying for Kneeland's funeral.
Oh.
The ex-Cowboy. They were friends.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting. Team meetings on Friday after the story broke and evolved. Dak Prescott stood up in a team meeting and looked at the entire 63-man roster in that locker room in the Cowboys and said, it's okay not to be okay. You say, why would he say that? It's okay not to be okay because there's help out there for you.
Yes.
You got a problem, there's help out there. You got a problem, you come to me. You got a problem, we have a union that can help you. Dak Prescott speaking firsthand. Brother committed suicide. 2 other players then spoke to the entire roster about how we have to come together. If you sense a problem with a teammate, step forward and talk to him or go to the team doctors. If you're a teammate and you don't feel right, headaches, whatever, you got personal problems, step forward, reach to me or reach to Dak. I was told, Dallas Cowboy beat guy who talked to Prescott said that it was evidently an absolutely amazing team meeting. And that should be happening in every locker room around the NFL. Because guys, I think you might have mentioned it last week. In the NFL, guys have this thing of this machismo thing. I can handle this crap.
Yeah.
No, you can't. Not head injuries, not brain damage, not ongoing problems. Obviously, Kneeland suicide. If they do the autopsy, they'll probably find some form of CTE, which was forming on the brain, which would have taken his life somewhere down the road. That affects your thinking. But the Cowboy guy told me, said Prescott was just amazing. That's what other players told him about what Prescott said at the meeting. So interesting story. Last story, Jacksonville Jaguars. They're moving from Jacksonville for 1 year. They're going to play their home games next year in Orlando. There's a massive renovation of that Jacksonville stadium. So they're going to play at Orlando. There'd been talk, where are they going to go? They've been talking about making them just a European team for a whole season. But they've signed a deal. They're going to play 5 home games in Orlando. 3 other road games are going to be in England. They've been England's team for the last group of years. That's interesting there. So you got a comment on Tagliabue, the Giants coach, what Dak had to say? Go ahead, John.
Wow. There's a lot there. First of all, has the NFL only had 3 commissioners?
Yes.
Rozelle, Tagliabue, and Goodell.
69 years.
That's amazing, really. Yep. I mean, the NBA's had a lot of continuity with Stern and Silver, but baseball hasn't. It's been a lot more erratic. Now, if you were to take those 3 NFL commissioners and give each of them a letter grade, what would you give them?
Well, I think Rozelle has to get an A only because he took it and made it from a mom and pop operation into a business operation, did the TV contracts, the first group of contracts with the 2 or 3 networks that existed at that point, and made it event watching. And Rozelle was a PR guy. He used to be a PR guy for the Rams way back. So he was creative in that area. But then the players formed the Players Association union job. The job got much more complicated. And Tagliabue comes in, and he elevates it, and he takes the brand to a whole new level. And somehow, some way, he and Upshaw decided, as this thing was exploding and growing, it has to be a partnership.
Oh, yeah.
And it became a partnership, no work stoppages whatsoever. And he did so many other dynamic things. But the minute I think of Tagliabue, my heart hurts because I know guys, I've been with guys who have been damaged playing in the NFL and are of the opinion that the league didn't give a damn.
So what grade would you give Tagliabue?
I'd probably say a B.
Yeah.
Only because of what he ignored for chunks of years with the brain damage, the concussion lawsuit. If you've never seen the movie Concussion with Will Smith, see it. You'll come away feeling really different because the story's pretty true, and it's an offshoot of the book that was written about the death of Mike Webster and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was the onset of this whole concussion thing, which then led to led to the lawsuit. So I'd give him probably a B. And Goodell, I would have to say probably a B to an A, because now it's really big business. Now it's global business. And they have done a lot of work to try to help the players and make the game much safer. It's a monstrously hard business to run. Of course, there's egos, and there's smart people, and there's stupid people, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know,
plenty of all of those.
Yeah. That are owners, et cetera. And it's a lot more complicated now. And now there's so many other distractions out there, and the integrity of the game, be it steroids or HGH or now gambling, really important too.
I always like at the NFL draft when Goodell comes out there, everyone boos him, you know, which is sort of like an inside joke, it seems. But you're talking about, you know, Tagliabue and Gene Upshaw. And it's just neat to think about Gene Upshaw and Art Shell and how successful they were, all pro players for the Raiders, but both went on to very distinguished post-playing, you know, careers in the NFL.
Yeah. The most unique thing is they came from small black colleges. I think Shell came from Maryland Eastern Shore, and I'm not sure where Upshaw, maybe Texas A&I.
Wow.
But they did not come from football factories. They did not come from academic institutions, but yet they became really smart people. And not only was Upshaw become a great union leader, he had a presence. I interviewed him one time. He had a presence that was amazing just to be around him in terms of intellect. But Art Shell became a really good coach, and then Art Shell went to work for the league.
Oh, wow.
When he retired the first time with the Raiders, he wound up going to league and league game day operations, and he had input and rules and things of that nature. So, yeah, those are two really special people.
Really special people, yeah. And, yeah, Dayball, that guy, you know, he seemed like he was sort of halfway out, you know, and that he was going to get toasted at one point. You know, you lose Scadaboo. You know, the whole thing's just gone sideways there. Love to hear the story about Dak Prescott, you know, and all that leadership there. That's good. And yeah, the Jaguars are sort of like the Globetrotters, right?
Yeah.
You know, they sort of bounce around, you know, they're the team that seems to play in London the most.
Except they don't win. Globetrotters do win.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's all things NFL Notebook. You have an opinion on Tagliabue? I said a lot. I've been preaching a lot today because there's a lot of strong emotions about the stories that we've been covering today on this podcast. But feel free, Fans Forum chat box is open. Last topics on the table before we let you, the fans, take over what's left here of this podcast. John, where do you want to go?
The high-speed sports wire. Let's start with San Diego FC.
How about SDFC? Moving on. They dominated. They really played well. 4-0 win over Portland Timbers on Sunday night, 32,000 at the party at Snapdragon Stadium. Anders Dreyer scores 2 more goals. Pellegrino had 2 more goals. Goalkeeping came up big. Portland had some chances to climb back in the game, and their fullbacks played really well. So did their goalkeeper. Now it's weird. MLS there's an international break on the whole global schedule for 2 weeks. They don't play a playoff game for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And because they got World Cup qualifying, etc. Anyhow, San Diego's got 2 weeks to get everybody healthy. Some other guys will be going abroad to play for their country in qualifying games and come back. Don't get anybody hurt. Then they get Minnesota. Second round, knockout round, baby.
One and done.
One and done is right. So it's been a phenomenal season for SDFC. Second topic on the table, heavy heart around the NBA. Great gentleman. Lenny Wilkens has passed away. Legendary guard, started his career St. Louis Hawks, went to Seattle, played Portland, played Cleveland, became a player coach. Might have been the last player coach in the NBA, I think. Somebody correct me if I'm off on that. But I don't know, is Larry Bird player coach? Magic wasn't a player coach.
Larry Bird was a player and a coach, but never a player coach.
Yeah. Lenny Wilkens, I think, might have been the last true player. Oh, Dave Cowens.
Okay.
Way back. But anyhow, Lenny Wilkens, what a great gentleman. Passed away at the age of 88. Then he became a great coach. And he won the only championship the Seattle Supersonics won. Coached in Portland, I met him in Cleveland. Just a gentleman. Third winningest record of all coaches in the league. Nobody thinks about that. Yeah, you know, everybody, when I say greatest coach of all time, people think Red Auerbach cigar.
Yeah.
Modern day, say Popovich.
Yeah, or Pat Riley.
But this guy, 1,332 wins. So Lenny Wilkens, great gentleman. He has passed on. A couple of notes off the hockey hotline. Speaking of passing on, Philadelphia Flyers. This guy was a dog. This guy was a dude. Mel Bridgman has passed away. He was a big center iceman in the era just beyond the Broad Street Bullies in Philadelphia. Big and physical. Scored 220-some-odd goals for the Philadelphia Flyers. Big physical kid. Played out of Western Canada. When he was done, played 17 years with the Flyers, Detroit Red Wings, and finished up in Vancouver. He became the general manager of the Ottawa Senators, and he rebuilt that team. And then after he left there, he became a player agent. He just passed away at the age of 70. He was a hell of a competitor. Talking about the opening of the National Hockey League season, and we talked about how hot the Ducks are. Ducks have won 7 in a row right now. All their kids are scoring goals. I mean, it's really been impressive what the Ducks have done. I want to talk about the other end of the spectrum. Can somebody please explain to me how the New York Rangers, with one of the highest payrolls in the modern NHL, how the New York Rangers could be 0-6-1 at home with all these goal scorers, and on the road they're 7-1-1. How can that be?
That's weird.
They've been shut out 5 times at home. I mean, Ranger fan at Madison Square Garden is kind of unruly when things aren't going well. Things are not going well for the New York Rangers. So this is just a really weird story. Next topic, Formula One racing. I'm going to get an F1 fan that's going to join us in Fans Forum if it kills me. That's how you'll get rid of me. Brazilian Grand Prix. It rained like hell. The driving conditions were terrible. They have what's called in South America, I guess they put up these flags that say what the weather danger is, and they have this thing called orange alert, which is violent rain and wind. They raced the Brazilian Grand Prix in Sao Paulo under an orange alert. The race went on. And the big story was Lando Norris won the Saturday sprint in a driving rainstorm, came back, started on the pole, and ran away from the field, won the Sunday race. Max Verstappen blew an engine, had to change engines, got penalized, had to start the race at the back of the grid in the pits. He could not get rolling till every car had gone by pit row. Then he was allowed to get out there.
Wow.
So Verstappen suffered a terrible setback in terms of the point championship. And Oscar Piastri, the great South American who was the points leader through the first half of the season, crashed out again. He has totally disappeared. Lando Norris has blown by him in the points race, and right now Norris kind of has this thing by the throat. So it was just a bizarre weekend. And a late-breaking story today, Team Ferrari with Sir Lewis Hamilton. The ownership of Team Ferrari told Hamilton and his teammate, the Frenchman Charles Leclerc, shut the bleep up. We're tired of hearing you bitch about the bad season, the problems with the pit crews, the engines, the setup. Good. Shut the bleep up. They're having a miserable season. Lewis Hamilton is he's a mental mess. His qualifying in the rain was terrible. He wound up qualifying 13th. And he took his helmet off, got out of the car, and said, I shouldn't even race on Sunday. What are you saying that for? You qualified 13th, bad weather, bad setup. So today, Ferrari's leadership ownership just went crazy. Last topic on the table involves LIV Golf and that guy. Can you please tell me who Phil Mickelson really is? Here's a story. Now, we know about Phil. Great success, the fans' man while he was on the PGA Tour. He betrayed everybody, went and took the money in Saudi Arabia, got suspended by the PGA Tour, never been forgiven. His game has eroded away as age has caught up to him. He was involved in a lot of junk off the course with a Las Vegas gambler who went to prison, insider trading over purchase of stock that his name showed up on. He had to sell the stock immediately, never got prosecuted. Had it been any other guy like me or him, probably would have gone to jail. Mickelson's in trouble again off the course. Mickelson has just hired a defamation lawyer. He's going after a business website that has evidently gotten documentation that Mickelson was given access to insider trading information on Exxon oil drills off the coast of Houston, and evidently was caught on, I don't know if it was a wiretap or texts or somehow an interview talking to other people about making a purchase now, better make it now because some stock's going to be sold, etc. That's what's being portrayed. And Mickelson has just hired a defamation lawyer to go after this website. So please tell me who this guy really is. Fans man, great star, but all this junk off the course with investments and money and big-time gambler, and now a second insider trading accusation after the last one where he got caught with his fingerprints on documents. Jeez. Who is he? Go ahead, Jen, your turn. Respond. I threw a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, who is he? It is weird. I mean, but if you like the whole idea of wheeling and dealing, in sports betting, well, I mean, if you're wheeling and dealing on stock tips, I mean, that's like sports betting, to a degree. You're kind of playing the market. But I don't know. Phil is a likable guy, but I don't know. I just sort of forget about him. He's on LIV. I mean, because I don't really pay much attention to it. But it is an odd story. The story of this whole board here is this first one, San Diego FC. That was fantastic. I mean, 4-0, in a clincher game that you had to win, and the fans were electric out there. And Anders Dreyer and Pellegrino with 2 goals each. That was fantastic. I mean, it's just nice to see a San Diego team having some success, which is so rare. And now they're going to go to Minnesota. I guess it's going to be knockout, just like the March Madness bracket, right? You got to win to advance.
They play Minnesota here, though. That's huge.
That is huge. Yeah. So good on them, well-deserved. And then, when they interviewed Mikey Varas after the game, they're like, well, coach, what do you think about Minnesota? And he goes, I'm not thinking about that, man. Today, we're going to celebrate our victory today. And it's granted, it's coach talk, but it's the right message, to celebrate the win and then turn the page and worry about Minnesota later. But, the coach was out there with the players. They're engaging with the fans, signing autographs after the game, which is a big celebration.
Here's a question. If I look off to the distance out there, what do I see? Now, I'm not talking about the green curtain or the purple curtain. If I look off to the distance, what do I see as we march through the MLS playoffs? Lionel Messi, Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Because they're in the other bracket. And they keep winning. Could you imagine SDFC and Inter Miami, Dreyer and Chucky versus Lionel Messi?
That'd be great.
In a championship game?
That could happen.
Well, things have to happen before that happens.
Well, so I think now they're down to a final 8, right? So, you got to go through a few more rounds if that could potentially happen. But that'd be great. I mean, it'd be the greatest thing in San Diego sports, maybe forever.
Okay. So that's all things sports. Feel free to join us, Fans Forum chat box. We've gone long today. I drank too much coffee this morning while he was chugging Red Bull. Time for Fans Forum, your chance to jump on board. Podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Go to Dixieline.com to see all the things that they have to offer. God, this feels like we started this podcast about a week ago. We got so many things to talk about.
Well, usually we kind of wrap up the Hacksaw's headlines in about an hour 10. We went an hour 30.
Okay.
So let's jump right away, and we'll go here to Matthew. Thank you very much, Matthew. He says, hey, this process for Craig Stammen stinks all around. Tingler 2.0.
Well, that's your opinion. Those of us who've dealt with Craig Stammen, I dealt with him a lot as a pitcher and just kind of know what he stands for. Deserves the opportunity. Everybody comes from somewhere. His somewhere was a bullpen. Smart dude. I mean, we're talking real baseball intellect who had this game plan. When I am done throwing strikes out of my bullpen, I'd like to work in a front office. And he went in and he was involved in player evaluation, teaching of players, etc. We know his experience in the Padre clubhouse, good times and bad times. So I'm not going to negate the hire because this guy has really served a lot of roles. And he's just really, really smart. Now, that's just checking off one box. The second box was keeping Niebla the pitching coach. The third box is they got to go get pitching. And that's going to be the enormous challenge as to how Preller is going to execute getting guys in here because they need starter 2, 3, and 4 at least. And we don't know whether Musgrove can be vintage Musgrove at least out of the gate. So there are going to be some more transactions. He doesn't like it. Your response.
Well, let's actually, David here had a comment. He says, will Niebla leave the Padres for a better team?
No, he's got a contract extension. He is staying here. He was at the press conference today.
Yeah, it seems like they're a united front, those two. Oh, so that's cool. That's going to work out quite nice for the Padres.
And they've been together since Cleveland. because Stammen was with the Cleveland Indians when Tagliabue was there. And then
Wait, really? I mean,
Yes.
wait, I knew Stammen was with the Nationals.
and then he went to Cleveland for 1 year.
Oh, he did.
And then he came here.
Oh, I didn't know about that 1 year.
Tagliabue was in the farm system and then got himself elevated
Okay.
to be the pitching coach.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right.
Next one.
Oh my God, the list here is gigantically. I'm going to start from the top. Michael says, "Hey, with the Padres signing a new manager and now without a hitting coach who signed with Houston, who do they have in mind to fill that vacancy?"
I don't know where the track record is in terms of the past of Stammen. I mean, Stammen's been in major league pitcher for 13 years, so he has crossed paths with a ton of good people. Off the top of my head, I'm so busy today, I have had no time to think about potential candidates out there, but we'll do some digging around, and maybe by Thursday's show, we'll have a much better feel. I was told today that Stammen's going to try to have this staff locked down by Friday. So maybe by Thursday, we'll have a much better feel.
Yeah, it's got to be the worst job in professional sports. to
San
be
Diego.
the San Diego hitting coach. And
Oh.
you said, what, 12 hitting coaches and 15?
This will be the 12th one they hire.
That's just crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
because that used to always be such a rotten job. You know, Callan had an answer. He goes, how about Steve Finley or Mark Loretta for hitting coach? A couple of players who won Silver Slugger awards and still work or represent the club in the front office roles.
Well, it's interesting. Loretta was an initial candidate, took part in the first round of Zoom interviews. I don't know whether he wants to be a hitting coach or not. Finley's here. Finley's done a lot of different things. Another name that's out there is Darren Erstad, I think, wants to get back into Major League Baseball.
Is he at Nebraska?
He was a head coach at Nebraska for, 5 to 7 years,
Mhm.
and then stepped away from that. And he was kind of a candidate for something with the Angels, but has not been hired back there. Maybe his name surfaces too. So I'll be intrigued to see what they do.
Okay. All right. Let's keep on moving. Let's go here to Casey. Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hacksaw, nice win by my Rams yesterday. How do you see them going against the Seahawks this weekend?
If this game was in Seattle, that'd be a hell of a challenge because you have to deal with the weather and the crazy Seahawk fans, but it's here in LA at SoFi. And I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of people wearing Rams colors. Yesterday, color of the day was black and gold.
Oh, big time.
Holy cow. I mean, Chris Collinsworth couldn't believe. He said, I thought we were in Pittsburgh. I looked out the window. There's no Allegheny River out there. He said it was just amazing. But this team is really good. And this team stayed free of injury for the most part. That's one of the intangible things. You look at some of these other teams around. Look at Washington. Washington's just been destroyed by injuries. Chargers offensive line's an absolute fiasco. But Sam Darnold, I want you to meet the Rams pass rush. Holy cow.
Well, right now, are the Rams like one game back, I think, in the NL West, or are they tied for first?
No, they're in first.
They're in first.
Yeah.
So, you look at the top teams in the NFC, it's got to be the Rams, the Eagles,
and then maybe Seattle,
the Tampa Bay sort of out there, and maybe the Lions.
Yeah. Well, Detroit's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But Rams are not getting any national love. Everybody's so enamored with Dan Campbell, Detroit, and rightfully so. The Rams are playing unbelievable football. You find me any quarterback in the league's got 25 touchdowns and 2 picks. Got a quarterback rating of 119.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. The quarterback rating has always been this weird algorithm that figures that out. Do you understand it?
No.
Now, doesn't it like max out like around 119 or 120?
124, I think, maybe is the max number.
And over 100 is good, right?
Oh,
But if you're in the 90s, is that still good?
it's decent.
Okay.
We got some guys in the NFL have quarterback ratings at 70.
Yeah, that ain't cutting it.
No, not at all. Trevor Lawrence is having I don't know what's happened to his career down in Jacksonville, but boy, Matthew Stafford, what a phenomenal season.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Okay, don't miss. Sunday's going to be great.
Okay, here's a bomb. It's kind of harsh from Jay. He goes, I knew Aztec football wasn't for real. God, they suck.
Well, that was a one-off. They played well. Now, part of me has always preached, well, wait till you start playing somebody. Well, they did play somebody. They punched Fresno in the mouth, but Fresno was playing a quarterback making his first start in Division I. So that was a bit of an issue there. And then they turned around and, boy, they got walloped in Hawaii. I couldn't believe that. Did not look like the same team. So now the challenge is right there in front of them to play Boise State, but it's here. So they've not dealt with adversity on the road very well. So I think that's a big issue. I think coming home is going to help them. Whether or not we have a sellout, that remains to be seen. And we don't know if Boise's quarterback, Maddox Madsen's going to start. He had an ankle injury 2 weeks ago. Boise's coming off a bye. If Boise doesn't have Madsen at quarterback, then it's not quite the same offense. So it's going to be a good game, but it's right there in front of them. They beat Boise. They eliminate Boise, and then they get San Jose, and then they get New Mexico. They can pretty much wipe out, because these other teams are still playing each other. They're going to knock each other out of this mix too. So big game, because they'll hold the one-loss tiebreaker with Fresno. If they beat Boise, they hold that one. I think it's over.
Yeah, that was just like you say, a one-off. But the Washington State loss, we're saying that was a one-off. But in other games, they've looked really good. Mm-hmm. It's just sometimes it's tough being a fan of a group of 5 team, because you have one trip, you stub your toe once and it's just game over.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Alabama, they could lose 1 or 2 games. They're still in the playoff, so you're still in this, it's sort of like a junior varsity league. And you want them to do well. And it seemed like this game against Hawaii, they were just outsmarted. I mean, it just seemed Hawaii had an answer for everything.
I got out schemed. I thought they got ambushed. I think your word with the headline you put up, ambushed down the islands, was a true thing. But that's a much better team than played last Saturday. And coming home they'll be amped to play Boise. And this is going to be a huge challenge for Boise. And San Diego State has beaten the Broncos a couple times, beat them here. And under Rocky Long, they beat them up there.
How do you think attendance figures are going to be for this Boise State game?
I'd love to see it be a sellout, but
if they would have won in Hawaii, I think the vibe would be a little different than it is today.
The vibe is the air kind of came out of the balloon a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean Lewis's press conference today was just, I'm not going to say crappy, but it was crappy.
Well, he's been bouncing off the wall, so he's got a little bit of humble pie, I guess.
Well,
but overall, this program's still, like 7-2 or something?
Yeah, right now.
That's pretty good. That's better than we would have expected.
Well, I said a couple of weeks ago, if these dudes wind up 10-2, that's a pretty good accomplishment. But it's right there in front of them, and they stumbled.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, let's move on. Thanks, Jay.
Okay, and from Renard, he goes, what do you think the Padres have to do to be competitive again?
Well, they're competitive in terms of the batting order, but help wanted. Padre pitching, they need arms. I don't know where they're going to go get guys in this rotation unless they go to Japan. And again, AJ has great relationships there. He's brought players from the Pacific Rim over almost every year. Whether it's a short-term rental like Nick Martinez or something of significance like Robert Suarez or Ha-Seong Kim, he's found guys. And right now there's about 3 pitchers in Japan. One of them from the Cebu Lions just was posted today. So if he can get a pitcher from Japan or a pitcher from Korea, and if they could get one of the veteran free agents, I happen to like Brandon Woodruff from Milwaukee, who was just a dominant starter. I talked to him about him on TV on KUSI on Saturday morning. He was dominant until he got hurt, and it took him 2 years to come back, but he pitched really well at the end of last season for the Brewers. If they could get him, or they get Imanaga from the Cubs on shorter rental term contracts, now you've helped yourself. My first priority, I'd do anything to get Michael King to come here on a 2-year deal.
Oh, yeah.
You offered him 22 to start, make it 2 years, 44. Because I don't know that he'll get that out there somewhere else. Now, if he wants 3 years or 4 years, I'm not giving him that. He's got to be healthy. But offer him first year 22, second year my option 22. That's 2 years, 44. And we'll see how you do when you're age 32 and age 33.
Well, to be competitive, right? I would say today they meet that standard. But I think as Padre fans, we want more than that. We want them to be more than just competitive. And they're never going to be, seen, it's apples and oranges with the Dodgers, right? Because the Dodgers can spend so much money and have so many guys that suddenly become healthy in August and September, and they have this robust bullpen, going into the playoffs. Padres have to kind of hit on certain guys. I mean, like the way they hit on Jackson Merrill
or Lugo.
Or Lugo, you got to pick that diamond in the rough or this unexpected rookie that's going to exceed expectations. You got to have like 2 or 3 of those kind of guys to get the stars to align for the Padres to have that magical season. I mean, Machado and Tatis, they're going to be Machado and Tatis, but you need to have like that lineup needs to be at least 7 deep.
Well, they need a bat with some form of power, and I don't know if that's a left fielder or whether that's a first baseman. They need to find a bat, and then they need to find at least 2 starting pitchers. Because I sit here and I look at this roster, now that Arise is gone and Ryan O'Hearn's gone, and obviously all the pitchers who are exiting, I look at this roster, and then I look at the Dodger roster up here, the ones being fitted for World Series rings and the gold standard pitching staff and all the All-Stars.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, they look way back of the pack.
Well, yeah, but I mean, every team is looking up to the Dodgers in that way.
Yeah, but we're in the division.
I know it sucks to be us, but you just can't compare them. You've just got to, like you say, focus on our own business. You got to hit on a couple of guys to have a magical year, and then maybe you can slay the dragon again.
Take Hacksaw's proposal to Michael King and see if you can get him.
That's a good one. I think I like it. You mentioned Luis Arise. Jeff says, hey, hope the Angels can acquire Luis Arise and have him play second base.
Maybe, but I don't think he's great defensively, although in his defense, I thought he played a really competitive first base for them. I mean, he made a lot of plays. His batting average really tumbled, though. What did he finish, 282? I mean, he was way off what he has been in the past. It's a fixed cost. I'm not paying him more than $14 million. Made $14 million here last year. The Angels need to get another bat. But the Angels, they need to get health more than they need anything else. So I'll be intrigued to see how quickly the Angels move and what they can accomplish there. Free agency has just started. There will probably be some signings in the first couple of weeks before we get to the winter baseball meetings. I don't think any of the mega stars are going to sign, but it doesn't mean you can't go into the marketplace and find somebody that fills a role for you.
Yeah, Arise would be all right with the Angels. I mean, but Arise to me is like the cherry on top kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a whole bunch of really good players, and he's just that one extra piece.
But 14 mil. That's a lot of
money.
It is a
lot of money. And, if you're the Angels, you don't want to be focused on I mean, granted, whatever the dollar amount is, you don't want to have your attention focused on someone like Arise. You want to have your attention focused on guys that can be more than a one-star player, a one-tool player. I mean, so the Angels need much more than that.
They need pitching. Hey, spend your dollars and get me Imanaga and get me somebody else to strengthen that staff. But they got holes everywhere in their lineup too.
Yeah, I mean that's a building project right there.
Okay,
let's go to Hector. Hi, Lee. With the indictments of Clase and Ortiz, this is a reminder to people from left field that Pete Rose can never be allowed in the Hall of Fame. I think he's taking a shot at me. The integrity of a sport is the most important thing, and once lost, the sport dies. Just look at the state of boxing.
Yep, I concur. I think John and I both are on the same wave. How could you be so stupid? Totally. I mean, everybody's making so much money. How could Clase be so stupid? He just signed a $20 million contract, and he's doing this for nickel and dime stuff. Oh, so I hope it's not the tip of the iceberg, but there's a lot of stupid people out there. There's 6 more college basketball players that just got expelled by the NCAA over the weekend for point shaving, gambling.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's everywhere. So.
It's a problem. It's going to, like you say, it's a tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that's going on. I hope the guys that are still involved in this are kind of getting spooked, and stepping away from it.
Simplest words to end this: death penalty.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do something like that. Cause I mean, Hector's right. I mean, you have to have integrity to the game.
Right.
No doubt about it. But in my opinion, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because he's part of the story of baseball, and the gambling and the even the death penalty should be built into the plaque, that says this guy effed up the game.
You put an asterisk right there.
Yeah. Then that's how you get the attention. You're not condoning Pete Rose's gambling by giving him a plaque. You could do it in a way to condemn him, just like a museum showing of Adolf Hitler. You have to show the whole story.
Hector, good question. Thank you. Go ahead, John.
Okay, let's go to Joe. He goes, hey, anything to the report that John Gruden is the possible candidate to be next at Stanford?
I don't know. This is such a different world in college football right now. I mean, it's intriguing to me. Stanford probably it's such a unique place academically. It's going to take a special coach to want to come in there and coach in that unique set of circumstances, because you're recruiting a very different type of student athlete at Stanford. I had heard initially that the Penn State coach might wind up being a hot candidate to go there because Penn State has real strong academic standards too. But at this point, Andrew Luck's got his hands full trying to get to the end of the season. And I think they're 3-7. Frank Reich did him a favor to come back and be the interim coach. I know Gruden's been out of it a chunk of time, and Gruden's got a track record of doing stuff that's kind of in a dark area. I don't know if Stanford wants to go in that direction. And I've not heard Gruden's name mentioned anywhere by anybody else.
The last thing I heard about Gruden is he got the Aztecs kit, in the mail, with jerseys and hats and everything else. Yeah, if you especially like an institution like Stanford, you just can't go there.
Yeah, I think that's a reach.
Okay, now I'm going to present 3 comments here in a row because they're all kind of linked. This first one is from Jim. He goes, "Hey, are they going to call the new stadium the Orange Bowl?" Talking about President Trump. And then John says, "Hey, Lee, sorry, but your president pardoned his son while he was facing the music. Say what you will about Trump, but his kids aren't getting indicted for crimes." And then Frederick wrapped it all up for us and says, "Hey, if I wanted political horse shit, I wouldn't go to a sports podcast."
Well, when sports intersects with politics, with apologies in advance, we do have to cover the topic on the table. We don't do it very often. The rest of the podcast, though, in all honesty, Frederick, is bleeping brilliant.
Yeah, right here. "Shut up, Hacksaw. You're a blue belly and biased." People didn't take too kindly to your comments. All right, let's get out of the world of politics. Let's talk about the Dodgers. This is from Showtime LA. Hey, I think the LA Dodgers has to stop messing around about the closer and just sign Edwin Diaz and Devin Williams and Tanner Scott as a 7th inning guy would be great to let him get his confidence back.
How hard do you think it'll be? We come in here one morning to do this podcast, and Robert Suarez is being fitted for a Dodger jersey because his name is in the mix too. I don't know who I'd trust more, Suarez or Diaz. Diaz was really skitterish with the Mets, and he had some elbow problems. It's kind of seemed to haunt him as they went along. Devin Williams did not pitch well for the Yankees for the most part. And, of course, he was in Milwaukee before that, and they let him go. So, I don't know. It is interesting. There are some really good names out there. I just happen to like Suarez. I think used properly, not overused. Suarez got 88 saves. Why are people down on him?
Well, he's good, but not great, and you always kind of question how much should you be invested in your closer. I mean, the closer is important, but is it that important? Mm-hmm. But Edwin Diaz, that'd be a great pickup there. Devin Williams would be, he had moments there where he was the setup guy for Hader in Milwaukee. So he could do the job, although I know he was shaky in New York.
Very shaky.
It seemed like he didn't like the spotlight. So maybe going to LA may not be a good fit. And Tanner Scott's going to come back.
You got 2 more years to go. They just need to fix him mechanically.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the input.
Okay, let's talk some puck with Jeff. He goes, Ducks at Colorado tomorrow night. The top 2 point leaders in the NHL. It should be a good game.
I'll tell you, Ducks are just rolling. Colorado, we didn't have time to talk about this. I don't know if you saw what happened Saturday. Colorado went into Edmonton and beat the Oilers, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and all them, 9-1 in Edmonton on Oilers ice. People just losing their mind over Stuart Skinner, who got pulled the first period.
They have a love-hate relationship with
him. They really do. 9-1. And Edmonton's off to a kind of the Rangers, that's got to be the crappiest start I've seen in a while from a high-priced team. But the Oil has not had a good start to the season. And, Anaheim just beat Winnipeg. Winnipeg's off to a flying start. The Ducks beat them. Ducks have won 7 in a row.
Did you say where they were 10-3-1?
Yes.
That's a hell of a start.
Yeah. How about those guys in Orange Country?
Orange Country.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Let's go here to Neil. Talk a little bit about the USC Heward punter scandal. He goes, the issue is the players can't have the same number and play the same position. By him going into the game as a punter, he's now a punter as well.
Yeah, they did. I found this out because the Big Ten is going to sanction SC. That's what I heard this morning. But they put him on the 2-deep chart that's distributed everybody wearing number 80. That's not Sam Heward's number, but for that game, and nobody at Northwestern paid any attention to it. So he was listed as number 80. But the Big Ten said this is unsportsmanlike conduct. You can't do that.
It's I think I read, and I'm sure if I get my facts straight, is that when Heward punted the ball as or threw the fake punt as the he was the punter at that time.
Yeah, he was given formation.
And then when the next time they came to punt with the real punter wearing number 80, then that would have been the violation. So that, I mean, technically that's how it would have rolled out. But I don't know. I at first I thought this was like a clever idea, for them to try something creative here. But if they broke a rule, they broke a rule, and they got to pay the price.
No, they'll get fined. They're not going to take the victory away from them. But and Lincoln Riley was just going crazy. Hey, we pulled one off. How about creative juice and all that? All right, next one.
Okay, let's go here to Mr. One Smith. First snow of the season today. I could use Dixieline out here in Indiana today.
Oh,
they're getting killed.
Oh, big time. Do not want to be in Chicago at this hour. You talk about the Great White North and Arctic. Wow.
Well, it's Monday, so I keep thinking, is this going to affect football games? What about Monday night, Thursday night games? Where are they being played?
Well, the weather changes. I guess yesterday the Chicago game had snow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean it's real Arctic right now up in the Michigan, Illinois area.
Yeah, the whole Great Lakes Midwest, They're just getting pummeled. Okay, let's keep on cruising here, and let's go to Dale. Talk about the Chargers. Hey, the Chargers have 5 wins against real people, Saul.
Well, we'll see. After they get done with Jacksonville, they get to their bye week, and then after the bye week, they start playing real people again. I mean, they still got to go to Denver. They still got to go to Arrowhead Stadium. Keep that in mind. So there's some tough games there, and Justin Herbert is just taking way too many hits. So, but there's nothing they can do. They just got to tighten the screws here, change some of their formations, keep an H-back or a tight end in to help on some of this pass blocking thing. But boy, he got whacked by Pittsburgh last night. He's lucky he got up because I didn't think he was going to get up.
Yeah, some players are like injury prone. They're kind of a little bit more frail.
And he's tough as steel.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's like a tank. I mean, that guy is unbelievable. I mean, but like imagine the abuse that he's getting if someone like Bryce Young was getting hit that hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bryce Young would be.
He's always hurt in Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be in the hospital if he was getting hit the way that the Herbert gets hit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not going to say they're living on borrowed time because they have the potential still to be a really dangerous offensive football team. But the quarterback is, to me, it's like an injury waiting to happen. And that worries me because they've just not been able to tighten the screws to help him along the way. Hey, listen, we hope you have enjoyed this podcast. We had an unbelievable number of topics on the table. So we'll be back here on Thursday at 1:30. We'll kind of step back, give you, the fans, more time to express your opinions. I have to tell my partner here to stop talking about his president as we go along. This podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Go to Dixieline.com, see all the things they have to offer. Check out my website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. Register and then join us so you'll be able to get all the alerts when we put new stuff up on the YouTube channel. John, have yourself a great couple of days. We'll see you come Thursday.
Come Thursday. Final question, if we can squeeze it in fast. The Heward quarterback punter thing. Remember when quarterbacks used to be backup punters or the starting punter? Remember Danny White from the Cowboys? Sure. You get that. We don't have that anymore.
Now, some of them are holders, but not even some of them are holders. The greatest modern day, I think, was Sammy Baugh, way back, Washington Redskins. Great quarterback, and he was a great punter, too.
Oh, wow. Right on. NFL history.
Now you know. Thanks for being with us. Have yourself a great day. See you come Thursday at 1:30 on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps. For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.